What's my beautiful people? This is your boy Stefan, your Afro-Grenadian ambassador. Welcome back to my channel, to all my viewers, to my subscribers, returning subscribers, well-wishers. I thank you very much for your kind gesture. I welcome it, and thank you for your continued encouragement and support to this channel. Well, in this video, we will be covering another interesting story where this British journalist called Laura Trevelyan, she is a former British journalist, so let me say this because she resigned from her job, and she found out that her ancestors played a major role on the island of Grenada in enslaving our Africans who were brought here on the island. And her family or her ancestors owned 2 plantations, and they had they had thousands of slaves. And she decided that she would confront her past and revisit the past and correct the wrongs. And so these are some of the things. I'm going to place some highlights and videos for you of some of the things she said following her recent trip to Grenada.
It says in the database that the Trevelyans got compensation for 6 different plantations in Grenada, and that we owned more than 1,000 slaves at the time of abolition. Did you know that? And I said, no, I had no idea. And this cousin said, I'm shocked, I'm appalled. This has changed my whole vision of our family. It's terrible. Yeah. What do you think?
Yes, so as you have heard is that, she found out in this particular database that she did her research. Well, a matter of fact, is a family member of hers that informed her of the discovery of her family owning slaves here on the island of Grenada. And mind you, her family did not step foot on Grenada. Back in those days, even though there were certain people or certain British family that owned plantations, it didn't mean that they were on the island. Some of them just had the plantation, maybe having somebody to oversee it for them, and they profited from that plantation due to the sugar plantation that produced sugar and so forth, right? So she found out that her family owned over 6 plantations here in Grenada. Now, I said 2 earlier on, so that's a correction. It's actually over 6 plantations, and it was in the Bouchejou area in the parish of St. George in Grenada. And I must commend the courage of Sister Laura. Yes, I call her sister because she's a human being at the end of the day. At the end of the day, and one of the objectives of this channel is not only to reconnect Africans to Africa or Afro-Grenadians to the motherland, right? But one of our objective is making a difference, as I said, and making a difference is to heal, is to forgive one another, and is to compliment where honor, or give honor where honor is due, whether it's on the black side of things or whether it's on the white side of things. Okay, so that is one of the objectives of my channel, and I want to commend the courage of Sister Laura Trevelyan. Had done something that some people will not dare to do. Some people will be afraid to do, because she came to Grenada not knowing how we here would have received her. Because knowing that she's a descendant of slave owners, is in itself a fearful thing, coming into a predominantly black nation that was enslaved. And so she took it upon her own, the courage to come here and confront her past. Because one of the things she said is that in order for us to move forward, we must confront the past, whether it is good or whether it is bad. And in her case, it was bad. And so she confronted the horror that her ancestors played on the island of Grenada. And I want to comment, I have great respect for her just because of that. Laura did something that no other people on the earth, very few people on the earth, or very few people who will find themselves in that situation will dare to do. And what give me great respect for her is that she didn't put up a defense for her family. You would thought that she would defend the role of her family in the slave trade and whitewash everything that have happened, but she did not do that. She came out honestly and with the truth. She did not only confront her past, but she acknowledged that yes, my family had played a role in the atrocities and the mistreatment of the African enslaved people, our forefathers and mothers that was on the plantation. So I have great respect for her in regard, and I commend her courage for that. I commend her for it. And that's the same thing I'm talking about. If we all could humble ourselves and accept our wrongs and correct that wrongs, okay? So some of you might say, well, she didn't cause that. Even though she's a descendant of these people, she was not there. But listen, we have to pay attention to the past when it comes to generations. In the past, God himself, those of you who believe in God, right? In the past, God himself punished and held generations accountable for the wrongs of their forefathers. And God told these generations, unless you don't repent or correct the wrongs of what your forefathers did, you will suffer the same fate, right? So it is important. No, there's moral lesson in this now, right? Laura Trevelyan is teaching us a lesson in all of this. We have to learn to take a page from her. She's teaching us that it is important that we correct the wrongs of our ancestors. It is important that we make a difference so that this terrible past of the enslavement and trading of human commodities as though they were like nothing, objects, animals, will not repeat itself. So I commend her, and I welcome her gesture in what she have done when she came here in Grenada. So let's continue to listen to some of the things that she highlighted during her trip here in Grenada.
Well, here's the skeleton in the closet that really I need to think about. So I began the process of asking BBC commissioning editors, because I've been at the BBC for 30 years, could you commission a documentary? Would you send me to Grenada? Could this be part of the wider story, Britain's forgotten slave-owning past? Because in Britain, we're really taught that the British abolished slavery in 1833. That was what I learnt in school. Not that we were major participants in the slave trade. That bit is really downplayed.
So if you listen very closely, what Laura said is that she took it upon her own with the help of other colleagues to go to Grenada and do this documentary because she wanted to get information from the source which is Grenada, where her family played the role in the enslavement during the slave times. Because she said she grew up learning, being taught in school that it is the British that abolished the slavery. In other words, they distorted the information or lied, or put it in a way that they rescued the Africans from the colonizers who were they themselves. She said they never taught them that they played a major role. I mean, they played a major role in the enslavement and the colonization of the African people. So she decided that she will go to Grenada and hear the story from Africans, the black people who are there themselves. And that is why I always say, and we must always advocate, and I always make this clarion call to our leaders. It is time we put aside the story with Columbus and these watered down, as I say, this watered down history that we continue to teach our children. It is time that the history of Africa be told by Africans. And that is something important. And I really appreciate her pointing out this by saying, that she decided now look at it, she is a European descendant, and a European descendant saying that she prefer to go where the thing happened, to hear the story there, because what was told to her wasn't the whole truth. Now that speak volumes. So let's continue to listen to what she has to say.
Like 104 family members signed our letter of apology that we delivered in Grenada. But, not all 104 family members really have very much money or are in a position to give. So people are giving what they can. I myself are giving £100,000. And we settled on education. And the University of the West Indies has a bursary fund in Grenada for mature students. So that's something we're giving money to, and also to a rural charity for school children in Grenada, which helps with the cost of getting to school buses and school supplies. Because these seemed like very practical things. And if, one of the legacies of enslavement was illiteracy and the education gap, then this, seemed like something that it was important to fund.
So yes, my brothers and sisters, there you have it. Laura Trevelyan, she said 104 members, 104 members who own plantations. I'm not too sure if it's here in Grenada or other parts of the Caribbean, also signed a letter of apology. And also she made a shocking statement that out of her own pocket, it's nothing that anybody gave to her. Out of her own pocket, she reparate, due to the involvement of her ancestors. She paid £100,000. Now, some people might say, well, that's not enough. That's not, but whatever. But here is the main objective, is that the fact that she have paid £100,000 out of her own pocket is a great deal of humility. This woman have done well, because she have humbled herself, and it's a means of saying I'm sorry. Money can repair the damages that slavery have done, the slave trade, the Atlantic slave trade have done. Money cannot do that. However, out of empathy and sympathy and sorry, and being sorrowful of the wrongs that her family has committed or participated in the slave trade, she donated this sum of money. And and not only that, is that the monies, because if £100 is like a couple of $1 million, well, in Grenadian, if I'm correct, in Grenadian currency, and she donated this money to charities and to programs and organizations where not the politicians will benefit, but the people of Grenada will benefit. And that is what I urge every Grenadian authorities, that when we are successful in getting the people that are responsible in reparating us through finances, okay, through finances, because most of the reparations are coming through finances. Some people have reparated in other ways by giving back land and whatnot, but most of the reparations are coming through finances. I am urging the government, please, let these monies go into or invest these monies in areas where the people of Grenada will benefit. Afro descendants, well, the people of Grenada, not just Afro descendants, but the people of Grenada will benefit from these reparations. Because if we are not honest and we just taking the money and pocket it, then it doesn't make sense, fighting for reparations. Okay, we are fighting for reparations, or we are applying pressure for reparations so that we the people can benefit can benefit and have opportunities that our ancestors did not have. And if our ancestors were alive today, they would have want their children, their future generation, to benefit from the atrocities that they have suffered. Yes, and so that is my encouragement and my urge to every government. So thank you, my brothers and sisters, for viewing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Thank you for sharing as well. Share this channel as well. And God bless you. Take care until we see next time.